So with the election just behind us, what does that mean for you and for your income taxes? We're going to talk about that more today. Hi, my name is Chris Passmore and I'm your social media CPA. So the election is just a few days behind us, and there was so much discussed proposed tax changes that I'm sure you're asking yourself, now what? We don't know necessarily what's going to happen in 2021 and forward. So I wanted to talk about that and to go over some details in today's video. Well, as of right now, the actual winner of the presidential races is not determined. They're still counting votes. I know there's lawsuits filed in Michigan. But what we do know is that the expected, what they called blue wave in the Congress did not materialize. So what does that mean? So it means right now you've got the Congress, you've got the Senate and the House. It looks to be that the Republicans are going to retain control of the Senate while the Democrats are retaining control of the House. So as that relates to any significant proposed change in tax policy, is that with a divided Congress, no matter who wins the presidency, whether that is candidate Biden or President Trump, that because the Congress is divided, that any major changes to tax law is unlikely to happen in the next 4 years, because the parties have gone so far apart that they most likely won't be able to agree on any major sweeping change that'll affect you as a U.S. taxpayer. So just to recall some of the major changes that were on the table, most likely more from candidate Biden than from President Trump was going to be an increase in the corporate tax rate from 21 to 28%, an increase in the highest marginal tax rate at the individual level from 37% to 39.6%, as well as a significant change in the capital gains rate, almost a doubling for high income people from 20% to 39.6%. Because the Congress will remain divided, it is highly unlikely any of those drastic changes will pass into law because they're just not going to agree on things. So from my perspective, I actually find this to be a positive result, because as both parties have gone to the extreme right and to the extreme left, frankly, their tax policies have become a bit more extreme. So for me, I actually prefer that the division will only allow bipartisan issues to affect all of us. So that is actually what is likely to change in the next few years, is the few key issues that has bipartisan support from a tax perspective. So it's not clear where there is bipartisan support, but the few things that I've read about that may still change in the coming years that will affect you is, one, the child tax credit. This is the credit you get depending on the number of children you have on your income tax return. This is one change that President or candidate Biden suggested that he'd like to increase from the current amount of around $2,000 to $8,000 for the first child and $16,000 for children 2 or more, for a total of $16,000. So you might still see an increase in your child tax credit coming in the next few years, because there does appear to be some bipartisan support. The next thing that you may also see happen from tax law is that the middle class tax cuts that happened because of the TCJA, this is the major tax change that happened 2 or 3 years ago, is that several of those tax cuts are slated to expire in the next few years. You might not have known that, but that tax break that you got 2 years ago when the TCJA became law was temporary. So there appears to be some bipartisan support to either extend or make permanent those tax cuts, so you will continue to pay tax at those lower rates. So stay tuned for what may happen, but it probably won't be very much. So likely what you are paying today as either an individual or a business owner will likely be the amount you will continue to pay, or the burden you have for the coming years. I'll continue to share more information as the election results continue to be shared with everyone. If you want more information about how the election will affect your personal taxes, please send me a direct message and I'll reply. So I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I look forward to speaking with you again.